Oh my gosh, hello. Hi. Hi. I don't sound different at all. I saw a couple new horror movies in theaters recently, and I want to talk about them. The first movie I saw was Together, which is the directorial debut from Michael Shanks, and not a bad one at that. What's funny about this movie is that going into it, I had no idea that Dave Franco and Allison Bray were married. I guess that just shows my know-how of celebrities these days. And after figuring that out well after the fact that I watched it, it kind of made things click for me. I mean, I may not know what's going on in their lives, but if you look at this movie in a certain way, this feels like Franco and Bray having fun with each other and with the script that they're given. Think of kind of like a quirky little date, but they're rich and freaks, possibly. I don't know. Together's strengths and weaknesses, I feel like, are laid out pretty clearly. There are points where the plot line feels kind of predictable and uninspired. A lot of the romance drama bits can feel clunky when going from scene to scene. The dynamics between Franco and Bray could have been fleshed out. There were multiple moments where it felt like they were flip-flopping from liking each other to not standing one another. I feel like there were some in-betweens that felt unfinished and could have been explored further to make their shift in moods feel more fluid and natural. And putting the dynamics aside, the characters in general just didn't really stick out to me. I mean, sure, there were like highlights here and there, but nothing all too special in the long run. But to be fair, it's not something that I'm going to hold over the director's head or anything. I do feel like writing a romance can be incredibly challenging, especially with all the slop that's been being pumped out recently. And I feel like Together does have its strengths that are worth acknowledging. Like, when it came to the body horror and some of the comedic aspects, this was pretty much on point. A lot of the body prosthetics were grotesque, which is something that I want out of a body horror, and the sound design coupled with it was done in a really effective manner. But what was surprising to me was that there were some moments where the body horror took on a creative but also very humorous tone. It almost felt like watching a Cronenberg flick, but with some slapstick added to it. And it's those moments that I found to be really fun and on their own, I would say are worth the watch. Which is unfortunate because I couldn't really say the same thing about everything else that surrounds it. Like I said earlier, this isn't too bad for a directorial debut, and despite its flaws, this shows where the director's strengths and weaknesses lie, and there's a lot of promise here. And I feel like if Michael Shanks hones in on his strengths and improves some blemishes, it could result in some pretty great works down the road. As for this right here, I'm feeling a 6 out of 10. It's alright, but I would still implore people to check this out in theaters if you are fans of body horror. I mean, who knows, maybe you'll find more enjoyment than I did. Speaking of promising horror directors improving from their debut, Weapons is exactly that. This is the second directorial feature from Zach Cregger, with his debut being Barbarian, which is a film that was pretty shaky but showcased a lot of promise when it came to subverting expectations. And if Barbarian was Zach Cregger dipping his toes in unfamiliar waters, Weapons is him going, fuck it, we ball, and diving headfirst. Despite being a horror flick, and a pretty effective one at that, man, this was so zany. It's the perfect amount of comedy that keeps one entertained while also grabbing your attention and not letting go, which is impressive considering how all over the place this movie is, not just in a tonal sense, but in a narrative sense as well. The film's structure mainly revolves around jumping from character to character, each time revealing a missing piece to a bigger puzzle. And while that said structure is jarring to say the least, and I will admit there were some points where I was a little taken aback by it, once you get in tune with what the film is going for and which direction it's headed, you're in for a wild ride. I really like how each character feels unique from one another, which is something I gotta give props to the cast because they did their thing and they did a damn good job at it. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that when the film decides to focus on a particular character, the whole mood of the film shifts around, but not to an extent where we completely lose the plot. This can mainly be seen in some of the little things, like how things are shot, how the characters react to certain things, some of the pacing in scenes. Even at points, the music makes a bit of a change. This is something that's made to be watched with friends or in a crowded theater, as it's been a while since I've seen a horror film that's simultaneously unhinged and genuinely chilling. I remember the person sitting next to me was literally averting his eyes every time there was a quiet scene. So definitely check this out with friends, or, you can just watch it on your own and still get a thrilling experience out of that. I'm really happy that Kreger managed to progress as a director and discover his own style of filmmaking, because this was great. And I'm happy to see unique voices in cinema. So yeah, I would give this an 8 out of 10. Some pretty great stuff going on here. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. I want to get this video out of the way because things are looking pretty good for horror movies right now, and I wanted to get my 2 cents out for these particular 2 that I think more people should watch. And now, I'm going to start working on some other stuff. See you then!